This year, I decided it would be the year that I would finally dip my toe into the water and see what college football was about. I'd always been told that you were either an NFL fan or a CFB fan, and I just didn't really see the point in watching a bunch of prospects run around a field when I could watch the real thing. But who am I to decide what is and isn't worth watching without at least giving it a try? I had very little to go by from the start. I knew some of the major teams: Alabama, Ohio State, Penn State, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Michigan, and Oklahoma, but that was kind of it. And I'm British with no American family who are alumni of any of these places. So there was really nothing to tie me to any of them either. And as you guys know, I'm a Pacific sports girly, which means I kind of have the option of like 4 schools and I know nothing about any of them. So I just had to dive straight into the deep end and see where the tide took me. You know where it took me? It took me to an existential place where I just wondered what the fuck I was watching. I started with the Ohio State versus Texas game because that was the game, right? I didn't even know about Arch Manning before I put on this game, but I decided that I was going to cheer the Longhorns because I've been to Austin before and I like Texan people. And that turned out to be a mistake. I think this tweet by Brett Coleman put it a little harsher than I would have, but like... And for me, as somebody who is not an expert in football and is very far from having all of their team's playbook memorized, I'm a bit reticent to make firm judgments about how a team is playing, because that would be dumb. But like, even I could tell that this was crappy football. But like I said, I am a Pacific sports fan, so it's not like I was about to become a raging Buckeyes or Longhorns fan, so it's not the end of the world. So the following day, I went back to the Utah Bruins game and I was fully ready to be cheering on UCLA. And I mean, I did consider doing a year abroad at UCLA when I was doing my degree, so like kind of a tie there-ish. But this one also didn't thrill me. And I didn't know about this whole thing with Tennessee either, but the comment section on YouTube made it very clear that the Vols fans were vindicated by this performance. And performance is a strong word for it. Even the Los Angeles Times write-up on the game did not hold back. It was pretty brutal. The Bruins didn't appear to be any good. They couldn't tackle on defense or consistently move the ball on offense behind quarterback Nico Iamaleava. UCLA's 43-10 loss to Utah at the Rose Bowl represented a giant step backwards. And to be fair, even Iamaleava described it as a punch to the mouth. So at this point, I am 2 for 2 on shitty college football games, and I'm starting to wonder if the only reason that people get like this much behind them is because either they or their parents spent 4 years at these institutions. Like, I feel like the childless friend who doesn't have to pretend that kids are actually... But I love the idea of college pride and the whole culture of it all, because even though they did play American football at my university here in the UK, this is what it looked like. So it's just not an experience that I had, and I kind of envy the fact that everybody gets to like experience it together and have that, you know, vibe. But there's still more chances to be impressed with this league. I've heard enough about Alabama that I can't even hear the name of the state without there being a little voice in the back of my head going, "Roll Tide." So obviously I had to see what this legendary team could do. And at the very least, it started off well. Alabama scored the first touchdown with a cool little fake to throw off the Florida State defense.
Turning the corner into the end zone is Cuevas for the first Alabama touchdown.
But the score was evened soon after. And then FSU started doing this cool shit, like Micah Danzy's 32-yard rush touchdown, which, to be honest, I got the vibe that he hadn't even expected to get that far up the field. Or maybe he had, because, you know, he's a 4-time All-American 400-meter runner. And I am just a pleb watching from the other side of the Atlantic. But even their quarterback has legs, I guess.
It's on 2nd and 7. Oh, Tommy with a spin for extra yardage,
which Ty Simpson doesn't seem to be able to match.
Simpson's going to try to run it himself. and the pursuit gets to him.
Or maybe that's because they don't get a lot of rain in Alabama and it was slippery. It would be a valid excuse. Certainly the excuse I would use. And that's not to say that Florida State didn't muff their ball at one point, but like...
Ryan Williams can't hold on to it.
Wow. That's the third time Williams has dropped the ball over the middle of the field.
How am I supposed to roll Tide if there is no Tide to roll? Anyway, it's been not even a week of college football, so I am obviously being very harsh. I guess it's just not quite what I was expecting going into it. And trust me, I would still be showing up on game day in cute little outfits, like chanting my fucking team's shit. Like, is it Penn State that does the like da, 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 da? It still is a little, because like I'm not a soccer fan really, like in any way, but you know, growing up in the UK means that I am mostly used to sports chants being very targeted and insulting towards players, whereas this has like happy vibes. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on college football, if I should stick with it, who your team is, and we'll see if my opinion changes at some point. But somehow I think I'm just gonna stick with the NFL and hockey, obviously. I'm open to being convinced. Okay, let me know in the comments and I will see you guys soon. Love you.